What's up, Yichi here, month 10, the month of October 2023. I'm going to try and do this video in one take, no cuts, so bear with me, let's see how it goes. This month we were so close to getting a deal done. Let me tell you what happened. So all month I've been working with a bunch of buyers, some looking for investment properties, some looking for properties up in Georgina, some downtown. But specifically, I had one buyer who was looking for a condo, a one bedroom or a 1+1 for herself with a budget of $600K or under. So I showed her a bunch of properties downtown, North York, and Richmond Hill. And eventually we found a beautiful one bedroom right on Yonge Street, 9201 Yonge Street, 14th floor. What's up? There are the dogs. The dogs are here. So if it gets a little rowdy in here, I apologize. Guys, don't mess up the video. Anyways, we found a one bedroom. It was listed at $580,000 and we wanted to put an offer on it. So we looked at the comparables of this unit, and to be honest, it was listed about $30,000 too high. Other one bedrooms in that unit were selling for like $490, $523, $516, but they had listed it for $580. And this is pretty common because sellers are still kind of expecting to get the same amount of money that they were getting, in the summer and last year. But prices have come down. There's not as many buyers. You have the foreign buyer ban. Interest rates going up, 9% stress test. So buyers can't afford as much as they could, and therefore prices have come down. If you look at the market, newer listings are being finally priced a little more reasonably. They're getting priced lower when they hit the market. But anyways, this seller thought that their home was worth $580. They have that right. They can sell it for whatever they'd like. So I called the agent and the listing agent, and I'm like, well, what's the bottom line here? We want to pay as little as possible, and obviously the seller wants to make as much as possible, and the agents just want to get a deal done, right? Fair enough, part of the game. And the agent even admittedly opened up and said, probably listed a little too high, probably worth $550. So $550 was their bottom line, and I told that to my client. I said, look, there are two other units that are way better units that have sold for $560. One was the exact same unit, except it had a 200 square foot terrace. Ours was only like 50 square foot and it was just a regular balcony. 200 square foot terrace is crazy. That's like half a studio condo. And that sold for $560. So that's a way better unit than ours. And also in the same building, about 60 days ago, a 1+1 sold for $560. Now, the 1+1 and the terrace unit both had lockers as well. So in my mind, there's no way that this unit is worth $550 because a locker's worth $5K and the den and the terrace are both worth more than $5K. So I gave my client a range of $535 to $550. Eventually, we offered $525 as sort of like our first initial offer. Obviously everything is sort of not disclosed to the other side in terms of what we can offer in terms of our bottom line. And eventually they came back and said, no, you know what, you got to do better. Our bottom line is $550. So then we offered and increased our offer to $535, and still the seller was like, no, $550 is our bottom line, even though $535 in this market is a great offer for that unit. But for whatever reason, they thought their unit was worth a lot more. And in this case, the seller wasn't as motivated. So we're talking about a $15,000 gap. The buyer wasn't willing to go any more and the seller wasn't willing to go any less. $15,000 gap from getting a deal done. And we were so close, but very exciting. That sun is really hitting me in the face, but no problem. And this is why I like this job is so interesting, because like $15,000 away from getting an agreement here. Pretty crazy stuff. If we had bumped into another seller who was bleeding on their mortgage, perhaps we could have got it for $535. Perhaps we could have got it for even less. But for whatever reason, maybe this seller, could wait. maybe the seller didn't have a mortgage, and I took a look at the Realtor database in terms of when the last sale was, and the last sale for this unit was 3 or 4 years ago at like $200,000-$300,000. So their principal on their mortgage was much smaller, so they probably could afford to wait. Needless to say, you know, neither side budged. So what can you do? I mean, there's not really much else you can do. So we will continue looking, but very, very exciting. We're so close to getting this deal done. But that's your job as an agent, right? You want to create a win-win-win for the other agent, for yourself, for your client, and for the other seller. And that's the art of negotiation. In this case, we weren't successful, but no such thing as a failure. We will continue looking for properties for the client. So I will keep you posted on that. Yeah, I mean, it was really fun, and it's sort of like interesting because, you know, with rentals, if I'm doing leases, it's pretty much guaranteed income, right? But if I'm working with buyers, I don't have that time for leases, and it can either hit big, you can get a sale done and that's worth like 5-10 leases, or, you know, you could not get a deal done for whatever reason and it's $0 of income. So that's what makes this 100% commission income environment super interesting. It is, honestly, it feels like a game, and I love it. It's a lot of fun. Outside of working with this client, you know, in this month I ran a marathon, played a bunch of golf, and on top of that, we also closed on 7 leases this month in the GTA, which brings our total to about 40. So had a pretty solid month in October. The momentum is building, and, you know, we're settled in our home, so, you know, I can focus my energy on my craft, which is really good. We also had a listing presentation for, there's the other dog, so cute. We also had a listing presentation for another seller in Scarborough for an apartment. So the wheels are turning and we're getting the ball rolling on that. Still have to get the seller to do a few things and figure a few things out, but hopefully we can help that client sell that unit as well. Yeah, overall, can't complain. Great month. And that's it for the month of October, month 10. We were able to do this in one take. Hopefully everything made sense, and you know, maybe I should do this going forward. It's a bit challenging doing things in one take, and I kind of like freestyle sometimes too and go off script or whatever. But yeah, that was month 10 in a nutshell. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you next month.